Hi, it's Dre Griggs with Obsidian Wisdom. Today we answer the question, why are so many Americans living paycheck to paycheck? Did you know that 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Did you know that half of the people who make six figures a year are also living paycheck to paycheck? When you're trying to understand why someone's living paycheck to paycheck, the first thing we would say is, well, we don't make enough money. But when I tell you that half of six-figure earners also live paycheck to paycheck, then you know that we have a wisdom problem. And you guys know that I'm big on wisdom, and the reason is very straightforward. We are often told that the amount of money that I have, it is going to buy me my freedom. That once I have my freedom, I can then have this amazing life where I can travel and I can hang out with my friends and my family and I can do all these amazing things. And as people get more money, what do they end up doing? They end up spending more money. Because we have told them that the more money you have, the more that you spend to be able to buy your happiness. And so as a result, people keep spending all the money that they have because that's what the plan was. The plan was always to spend the money. I was always trying to make more money so that I could spend more money. And as a result, the trap that society has set for us continues to work very well, where you've never come to a point where you're saying, okay, I have the more money, but I'm going to leave my expenses down here. Because the whole reason we wanted the more money was for the happiness. And I completely understand that. And that is why the wisdom is the key to happiness. And it ends up being the key to financial discipline. It ends up being the key to success and wealth overall. And then it leads to financial freedom. And the reason is pretty straightforward. If you are happy, if you are content in the life, if you feel fulfilled on a daily basis, you won't then feel like you need to spend the money to buy your happiness. So then you won't have to say, when I get this raise, I'm going to buy this thing that I always wanted because it was going to make me happy. And then as a result, you never get out of the rat race. You're never able to purchase your financial freedom. And that leads us into the issue that I have with the FIRE movement. It's not that I don't mind the part about saving and investing and purchasing your freedom. It's the mindset that surrounded it. The mindset is you are going to suffer for a certain number of years and live on, 30, 50, 60% of your income. And then you're going to be able to save and invest the rest. And you're going to eat like ramen noodles and you're not really going to do anything. And you're going to, in 5, 10 years, have all this freedom. And then you'll be able to make all these decisions with your life. Now, for me and my family, that's very difficult because I have kids. I think that plan works fine if you're young and you don't have any kids. I think the plan probably works a lot better if you're not married with a whole bunch of obligations and responsibilities. I do think that if you have a family that you want to bring along and you appreciate the fact that your children won't be that age forever to where you won't be able to buy that time back. So if you give 10 years, your kid who's 5 will be 15. And if anyone's had kids, you know that your 5-year-old and your 15-year-old, they have completely different interests and you are not one of them. And it's not that your kid doesn't think like you're cool necessarily, even though they probably wouldn't use cool to describe us. It's just that they're kind of coming into their own. So they're figuring things out. They have their friends and their own interests, and they'll have time for us when they have time for us. And that's okay. That's just a part of the cycle of life. And we've all gone through it when we're old enough to realize that we want to make our own decisions, but we're not necessarily wise enough to make the right decision with our freedom. And so that is the part where your kids are at. And you miss a lot of those opportunities. They may not want to go fishing with you. They may not want to go to an amusement park with you. They may not want to go to a movie with you. But you gave those 10 years to have the freedom to then make these decisions and live with them and do all these fun things with them. But you made the decision and gave the 10 years to get the money so that you're able to buy your freedom. And then you can do these amazing things with your kids. But then your kids are in a different part of their life. And that, I believe, is the perfect example of just why I don't think you sacrifice your time for the money. We all say that our time is the most valuable asset. But a lot of times we're sacrificing our time where we're not doing anything. We're not creating any amazing experiences. We're almost taking these relationships for granted. And I would say that that's not the wise thing to do. It's almost like a fad diet where you're saying, I'll just drink lemon water for a month. And you're right, you'll lose like 50 pounds or something like that. But then the second that you breathe food, you're going to gain back the weight. And I find that if you want to build long-term financial success, then you have to be able to be content and fulfilled and enjoying life today for you to commit to a 3, 5, 10, 15-year plan to be able to achieve your financial freedom. Otherwise, you open yourself up to being taken advantage of by different situations where someone's going to come in and say, I'll make you a millionaire in a year. But you and I both know that that's highly unlikely, where they say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. But the only reason that you even considered that idea is because of how desperate you were because of the life that you're currently living, where you're not spending any time creating wonderful experiences with your kids, where you're not taking any trips, you're not going to any family outings, you're not doing anything except working and then living on ramen noodles, and then you're trying to figure it out from there. And so I believe that that is a short-term situation, which is why the majority of people end up living paycheck to paycheck, because you aren't able to maintain that type of a lifestyle for very long. Now, some will say, well, Dre, I can do it for the 5 years and then I'll be good, which is fine. Do it for the 5 years and be good. But I would encourage you to find a way that you can do it where you enjoy every second that you have on this earth, because tomorrow is not promised to us. To plan with the assumption that I'll take today for granted because I'm going to be able to enjoy life tomorrow, I find that to be a little unwise and even a little dangerous. When you put your money ahead of your happiness and your success, you end up with all the money, but it costs you your happiness and success. So the first thing you do with all your money is what? You try to buy back your happiness, which sometimes work. Sometimes you can buy back those relationships. Sometimes you can buy back your health. Sometimes you can buy back those experiences. But oftentimes, because it costs you so much time, it's a completely different situation and you're unable to get it back. Which is why I believe that even the six figures who half of them are living paycheck to paycheck, it's because they're trying to buy a lifestyle and a happiness and a success because they felt like they sacrificed so much to get the money that at some point you should be able to reward yourself. And I agree completely. If that was the approach I took, if my approach was sacrificing my happiness and my success, at some point I should be able to buy something that makes me happy. But if you maintain your happiness and success the whole way along the whole journey, then when you have the wealth, you don't need to change your spending habits. Then you are able to put more money in your investments, where you can fund your opportunity fund, your freedom fund, where you can fund your generational wealth or your kids' education, where you can have the money and accessibility to where you're able to grow it in a responsible way, where you're able to put the money where your money works for you, where ideally that's the goal where we all want to get. So you want to get to a place where you're not working for the money, but the money is working for you. And whether you have a company or you have an invention, or whether you want to work actively where you have fulfillment in your career, whatever the path that you take is, the goal is the same for all of us. The goal is for us to take our money and to be able to invest it in a way that allows us to be able to purchase our freedom and really everything else, where our money is working for us. And that way we're not working for it. The only way that we can change that relationship is to be able to commit to some sort of a plan that enables us to be able to enjoy the whole journey, so that we can have the financial discipline to not have shiny object syndrome, where we feel content and joy inside because we never paid too high of a price for the money. If you like the video, I ask you to like and subscribe, and feel free to check out other Wisdometric videos if you're looking for ways to eradicate financial stress, generate passive income, and build a prosperous retirement strategy.